Dmitry Bivol belongs to a new generation of elite boxers who, punch after punch, are determined to step closer to glory. In today's video, we will reaffirm his power by watching him fiercely defeat opponents who underestimated him but were unable to end his indomitable winning streak. Stay tuned. You won't believe who the latest one is. Dmitry Bivol versus Sullivan Barrera. It was the year 2018, and Dmitry Bivol was at his peak. No more than 2 fights prior, he had won the WBA light heavyweight title and was set to defend it for the second time. On March 3rd, he faced a new and imposing challenger, Sullivan Barrera. Barrera, from Guantanamo, Cuba, carried the power of Cuban fury in his blood. Having lost only once before, by unanimous decision after 12 rounds against Andre Ward on March 26, 2016, he was clearly a tough opponent to beat. Nonetheless, Bivol stepped into the ring at Madison Square Garden Theater in New York, ready to make history. His undefeated record of 12 victories, 10 of them by knockout, backed him up. With Harvey Dock as the third man in the ring, the fight began. Fight summary. From the opening bell, Dmitry pushed Barrera to fight at the limit of the ropes. Stretching their respective lefts, both fighters tested each other's guard.
Let's see what happens because he doesn't want to let Bivol get the momentum in his favor that early.
Your opponent can do with timing and using his experience.
Bivol seemed to control Sullivan well by the second round. Exchanging punches closely, Sullivan made sure to reaffirm his position as the challenger.
Some really good stuff for an up-and-coming prospect.
Light heavyweight Gennady Golovkin. And after
His answered about Bivol already.
Sullivan probed Bivol's guard during the third round. Even with caution, Dmitry had no problem cornering him against the ropes. A strong punch from Bivol warranted a timeout for Barrera.
better fighter than he's been in with before, and trying to take over the fight with his skills, and now their heads come together again.
Bivol began to control the pace of the fight starting in the fourth round. His combination struck with great success on Sullivan's body. In the center of the ring, the fight seemed poised to last a couple more rounds. The fighters continued to trade blows throughout the rounds. At times, Bivol was the clear aggressor. When he wasn't, Barrera did a great job trying to seize that title.
Another left hook that
he's running that wrist getaway. See that? He's running that wrist getaway, Jim. If you throw at his head, he's still right there, right there.
A chance to win.
And that's what the body shot would do if he could do
where he left the corner.
That was a good body shot. He doesn't walk into you. He throws it quick and it's over with. Like that. He said, boom, 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 and it's over with. No wasted time. The next few rounds to the body. Then try to come up and land something big on the top.
This clash of powerful forces led to a conclusion in the 12th round. With both fighters clearly damaged, the final round began. Quickly, Barrera opened fire on Bivol, who closely followed him. Bivol's left tested Sullivan's guard until he found his weak spot. A fierce right hook left Sullivan flat on his back on the canvas.
Training two guys with legitimate boxing skills. One of them a little bit younger, quicker, and more vibrant.
Olympic boxing or amateur boxing. Barrera,
Bivol in the meeting, I said, you know, we always talk here in the United States.
You want to see more American champions, we have to get our amateur. Oh, down goes.
His expression was grim, his eyes were lost. The cut over his left eyelid was a problem, and Doc's count seemed unheard. Barrera got up at the count of 9, demonstrating the resilience of Cuban blood. Still, Doc saw only a shell in him. His fighting spirit had been banished from his body, and he had no choice but to signal the end of the fight. At 1 minute and 41 seconds of the 12th round, Dmitry Bivol defeated Sullivan Barrera by technical knockout. Dmitry Bivol versus Joe Smith Jr. On March 9, 2019, Dmitry Bivol stepped into the ring at Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona to face his next big challenge. There awaited Joe Smith Jr. Statistically, he would be an easy opponent. On July 15, 2017, Smith Jr. had been defeated by Sullivan Barrera, who had, in turn, been defeated by Bivol. Still, he had just knocked out Melvin Russell on June 30, 2018, in just 1 minute and 45 seconds of the first round. Therefore, the lethality of Smith Jr. remained a mystery for Bivol's undefeated record. Smith Jr. entered with a professional record of 24 wins, achieving 20 of them by the hard route of knockout, and only 2 previous losses. Dmitry's undefeated record had risen to 15 wins, 11 of them by knockout. For this bout, judges Glenn Feldman, Tom Schreck, and Don Trella were appointed. With Gary Rosado as the third man in the ring, the fight began. Fight summary. Smith Jr. started the fight with great aggression, throwing his left at Bivol during the first round. For his part, Dmitry also did some reconnaissance work.
It was a sad way for a legend to go.
The chant is up here. We're in Verona, New York.
Using my feet, I like feinting. I like looking.
Bivol fairly effective with that jab, and there with a short.
By the second round, Bivol's aggressive nature began to emerge. Smith Jr. had no choice but to focus on his defense.
Side is the jab. You see, saw Johnson bounce back with a win here early. So tried to come in defensively sound. Bivol said, oh, no, you're not breathing. I'm coming at you in a nice combination.
Smith Jr.'s offense was more aggressive in the third and fourth rounds, but it didn't bother Bivol. During these, the first clinches occurred. Smith Jr. seemed to be a worthy challenger, staying active through the fifth and sixth rounds. Pushing Bivol against the ropes and landing shots at times, it seemed for the first time that Dmitry's undefeated record was in jeopardy. The fight normalized for the seventh round, and Bivol began to attack.
Hall of Fame. All right, we'll do it. He looks hurt. That hook didn't quite land. That right hand.
By the eighth round, he had regained control of the fight's pace. Bivol attacked Smith Jr. with body combinations when suddenly he was charged and thrown to the canvas in the ninth round. A foul that wouldn't go unpunished.
That knows how to survive and can punch. Now he's fighting the dead of it.
Wow. Now, Smith.
Dmitry, angered, pushed Smith Jr. to the limit for the 10th round. Forcing him to fight with his back against the ropes, Smith Jr. was no longer as bold. Bivol's hard body combinations rose to strike Smith Jr.'s face.
First shot at a world title belt for Joe Smith Jr. He's 24, so this is his shot at the title. But this is what it's like. It's hard. Again, we haven't seen Smith fly out of the ring yet.
Smith Jr. attempted to recover for the 12th round. He tried to go for Bivol's head but showed incompetence. Moving around the ring, Bivol dodged most of his attacks, what Smith Jr. wouldn't do in the 12th round. The fighters refused to lower the intensity of the fight when a barrage of punches pushed Smith Jr. against the ropes. There, he was punished by Bivol, who had become a true executioner.
Really burned a lot of gas in the 11th, and now Bivol has him hurt. Hard right hand. Smith has never been down.
At the end of the scheduled rounds, the judges had no choice but to declare him the unanimous winner. Dmitry Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez. Fast forward to May 7th, 2022, Dmitry Bivol broke all stigma by facing one of the toughest Aztec warriors of the present, Saul Canelo Alvarez. In the ring at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas that night, one of the most memorable contests of modern times took place. The judges were Tim Cheatham, Dave Moretti, and Steve Weisfeld. The third man in the ring, who would have the hard task of officiating the titanic battle, was Russell Mora. Fight summary. The fight started slowly. During the first round, Alvarez attempted to penetrate the solid walls that made up Bivol's defense. With strong left punches, Canelo sought to become the aggressor in the contest. In counterattacks, Bivol did a good job connecting to the body.
Shots and punches. He has a large arsenal that he uses, but one of them being his punch count. So Canelo looked too predictable when he tried to throw left hand off the top of the head from Alvarez.
Canelo pushed Bivol against the ropes in the second round. Quickly, close exchanges of blows took place. Canelo seemed comfortable, taming Bivol during the third round. When Bivol countered, he relied on clinches to quell Canelo's feared offense.
You gotta be content with just touching those gloves. Take what you can. Nice. And this is what Bivol has. There's another uppercut trying to split the guard for. And left goes around the guard of Bivol. The ring, and Bivol is not loaded up on punches as well.
In the fourth round, the fighters contested the center of the ring until Canelo's offensive pushed Bivol against the ropes. What the tricolour seemed not to realize was that the undefeated champion was comfortable there.
Chris Mannix, how do you have it?
Bivol's offense began to activate in the fifth round, battering Canelo against the ropes. Canelo attempted to follow him closely, but it was Bivol who clearly won the round.
Look at him go!
Canelo was more cautious in the sixth round while Bivol gained confidence. Even against the ropes, he landed powerful shots to the tricolour's face. The 7th round was filled with body combinations. Canelo, who was beginning to look exhausted, had to endure some of the hardest punches up to that point. Against the ropes, the tricolour was not as effective as his opponent. Canelo continued to try to corner Bivol against the ropes for the 8th round. However, this was a tactic already internalized by Bivol, who easily escaped from these dangerous situations. Canelo's efforts to hurt Bivol only served to highlight his inability to truly damage him in the 9th round. Still, the tricolour showed a good display, using his waist to dodge several of his opponent's punches. The contest continued, with Bivol delivering severe power shots until the last round. Canelo could not hide his wounds, and fatigue took its toll.
Punching. Now it's starting to look to me heavyweight.
He managed to come away with a disputed draw in that fight, but
Bivol has been doing this entire fight. Can you imagine if
When the judge's decision came, Dmitry Bivol was declared the unanimous winner. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember that there's no better way to support my content than by leaving a like on the video. Which of these wild encounters of Dmitry Bivol was your favorite? What others would you like to see compiled in a second part of this video? I'll read your comments.